right? This is the one to automate your Twitter feed. Twello, right? Again, I know the names are silly, but Twello is like the yellow pages. It's Twello. Anyway, you can search for people who are in the Bay Area and proactively follow those people, and some percentage of them are going to follow you back. So if your audience is CEOs, you can go to Twello and search for people who use the acronym CEO in their profile description, and who live in San Rafael, proactively follow them, and some percentage of them are going to follow you back. Now you have a following of precisely your target market. Right? You can search for people in your space, in your industry, whatever. And finally, TweetDeck is a platform where you can organize. If you're following a lot of different people, you can group them and organize them. Yeah.
Yeah. So you search for people in Twello. That's where you do the search for people.
Yeah. Twello is like a huge database.
No, I know. Yeah, I haven't seen that. You can search it for location.
Yeah, absolutely. You can search it for location, guys, and I've done that myself. I've searched. Like I did this conference in Sweden in May, and so leading up to that, I proactively followed like every major Twitter user in Sweden. There actually aren't that many of them. But a lot of them actually followed me back, and then those people knew something about me by the time I arrived. It took like a few hours to do this. It wasn't hard. I'm going to keep going. So here's, guys, this is such a classic example. Koji Korean barbecue, right? We're talking about one of those white trucks that parks on the side of the street and sells food. How smart are they, right? They're in LA. They started a Twitter account and proactively followed people in Los Angeles. Some percentage of them followed them back, and they started to get a community of LA-based people. And every time they filled the truck up full of all this barbecue, when they're getting ready to go out, they start tweeting it and saying, "Hey, we're going to be on the corner of MacArthur and Lincoln or whatever." And you go to seriously, you go to YouTube, and you seriously, if you want to prove it to yourself, go to Google rather, go to Google. And search for Koji Korean barbecue and click on images, and you will find like dozens of pictures of lineups like 3 blocks long. You're from Orange County, maybe you've seen this. It creates a frenzy. People are like, "Oh my God, the Koji!" And I always think about like the other white truck that's like 1 block away, and like no one's there. And then like Koji Korean, they sell out. How can you use it? Right, just get creative. Okay. Again, I know I'm going quick, but I want to get as much to you as possible, and then people who are interested. I got a lot of these stories. I just did the same thing, a 6-hour version in Canada last week. So there's a lot, but it's all about participating in the conversation, and that's in the book as well. So LinkedIn. So this is pretty interesting to me. I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a huge part of my business, my career. So who here? You're all consultants. I'm sure you're all very active and have tons of contacts. Who here yesterday had more than 100 emails? Regular emails. Right. So a lot. Now, how many of you had more than, say, 5 LinkedIn emails? All right, so look around, guys. There's a few people. Here's the deal. Statistically, if he gets an email from someone he does not know, so not his spouse, not a friend of his, okay, he is 7 times more likely to open the email if it came through LinkedIn than if it came through a regular email. Right? This is statistics from LinkedIn. You're 700% more likely to open the email if it comes through LinkedIn than if it's just a random, unsolicited email from someone you don't know coming into your email inbox. That, to me, is almost the entire power of LinkedIn. So if you're going to try and contact a potential prospect about what you do, and maybe submit some sort of a proposal to them about what you could do to help their business, you're much better off sending that email through LinkedIn than if you send it just through regular channels. Now, a lot of you are savvy on LinkedIn, and you're saying, well, that's a great idea, but I can only send emails to the people I'm directly connected with on LinkedIn. Right? Well, it turns out there's a really easy way around that. If you wanted to send Steve Jobs an email, you can go to his profile on LinkedIn and see what groups he's a member of and join one of the same groups, and once you're approved, you can send an email to anyone you're in a mutual group with. Okay? I always want like the entire audience to be like, oh. Because that's what I did. I was like, oh my God, like it's like this huge brick wall that I perceived right in front of me actually is not there. I can just walk around it. I didn't even know that. You can email virtually, you're limited to 50 groups, but you can email virtually anyone just by looking at the groups they're members. So for me, I want to connect with event planners, right? This is what I do. I love doing what I'm doing right now. I love this. And so I'm looking for speaking engagements. And contacting event planners is not an easy thing to do because they get solicited so much. But there's groups on LinkedIn that have like 16,000 event planners. So I joined the group, I got accepted, now I can send an email to any one of them. Now, if I send a spammy email, they'll say, I don't know this person, and I'll get restricted. So you can't sit there and just spam people. But you can contact them. And you can look at their profile and say, oh, by the way, our mutual contact is Sarah, and oh, a coincidence, my good friend went to Purdue and you did as well. Or something, right, to warm up that email so they open it, and it's not, you know, to take the spamminess out of it. It's a discipline, right? And disciplines, I mean, you know, we all know the right food to eat, but we don't always eat the right food. It's the same thing. I mean, you have an opportunity to look at a profile on LinkedIn and send an email that's tailored. It takes an extra 5 minutes to look at it and be like, okay, I'm going to include this and that. You know, to make it warmer, to make it more welcome when it gets there. So here's my profile. I just want to show you a couple of things. Number one, right up here on the top, this is my status update. Okay, and you can, and then obviously, you know, Twitter is only status updates. That's all it is. But the culture on LinkedIn is not to change it that often. So you can, look at the real estate. This is right up at the top. Everyone's going to see this. It's great real estate. It's a great place to make an announcement. It's a great place to say, watch a video of me talking about my expertise, and then have a video on YouTube that you can link to, or something. I'm offering a new program. Whatever that announcement is a great place to put it. Okay. And secondly, recommendations. I mean, it's a lot more fun to read, you know, what someone else wrote about you than what you wrote about yourself. So a lot of people read the recommendations. Well, the fastest and easiest way to get recommendations is very easy on LinkedIn. Just recommend people you know. Because here's what happens, right? You all have, I bet you almost everyone in this room has at least 100 contacts on LinkedIn. Some of those people are people you know and love already. So have you written a recommendation about those people? Maybe you have. But I'll bet you anything, there's some in your network that you have not yet. And here's what happens. So you write a recommendation for me. And what happens? I get the email saying, John wrote me a recommendation. Right? And I'm like, wow, that's pretty nice. Right now I'm reminded that John exists, and I like him just a little bit more than I did 5 minutes ago. Right? Which, I mean, you can do this for all your clients. You want to get back into a client, write a recommendation.